Hello, everyone. Hello, good day. Good evening, Governor. How you guys doing? Welcome to episode 44 of TBC. Thanks for joining us on this fine-ass Sunday. My name is Mo. I'm Dr. Mo Bokalma with my brothers in arms. My man, Kevin. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. Alive, upright, and
Alive and
present.
upright. All right. Well, that's pretty ambiguous, dude. That applies to a lot of things. So, all right. I'll just keep it. I'll just keep it. Just tied to your posture, man. Alive and upright, baby. My man, Mike.
What up, baby? What up, son?
What's up, homie? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, actually. I was kind of feeling like not so great earlier, but I'm digging it now, so I'm good to go. Talking about video games, PlayStation, Dash. We got my boy Dash, newcomer in. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm having a good day. I'm having a good day.
Popping his podcast cherry today is our friend. Hey! I had a nice little introduction for you, man. Come on. I'm just fucking with you, man. My man, Dash. Good to
what
see
up,
you,
man? See,
What's going on, brother?
Like I've done this before, but you're throwing up cherry emojis all over Twitter, popping cherries, man. You're nasty, bro.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, good to have you here, dude.
It's good to be here with you guys, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. You were, I was telling you from before, I wanted to have you on first because, you got some good takes, dude. I like your takes. You're one of those Twitter people that you get it. So I'm like, yo, this guy would definitely be somebody we can shoot the shit with on the show. So I'm glad to have you here, man.
For sure.
Appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah.
I hope everybody else with us in the chat, Doom, ERG, Hassan, my fucking son. What's up, baby? Everybody else, appreciate you guys being with us. And before we get rolling, as always, we talk about what we're up to and what we're doing. I'll start with Kevin. Kevin, what you been doing, bro?
Well, you know damn well we finished killing Hitler and
yeah, we did, baby.
Army. Yeah, we did. Schweiger. Dr. Schweiger. And we finished that, and I think we're on to Diablo 3 now, and I actually started that, and I realized I was playing not in adventure mode, but in campaign mode, so I probably could have been like level 70 by now. But I think I'll be joining you guys for some Nephilim rifts.
Yes, demon hunting.
Oh, yes.
Hell yeah. But yeah, that's been about it. I mean, I don't know. I played the a certain demo that came out yesterday, and we'll talk about that later. But
what demo was that?
It was some kind of mediocre.
Yeah, like
not really
1A game.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
It wasn't a big
That's
deal.
what I figured.
But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But that's me, man. That's what I've been doing.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, that's kind of fucking... Well, yeah, that's it, huh? I was hoping...
That's it.
Honestly, I'll get to me in a second. Dash! Yeah, man, me and my fucking opinions. Dash, what you been up to, man? What you been playing?
I've been playing the predecessor of this game that we're not talking about, this demo that we're not talking about. No, I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil 7, man. I've been hyped about Resident Evil Village. It's every single trailer, showcase, everything they've done has just looked really good. We'll dive into it, but I knew I needed to get Resident Evil 7 off my list, man, and that took me a minute to get into it, man. That game doesn't welcome you in too easily.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. Not at all.
In the Resident Evils, I'm used to it. It's like, here, go into this quiet room and solve this, puzzle on the wall. And it's like, you have all the time to yourself. I'm over here trying to solve puzzles while this guy's beating my ass, like chasing me throughout the hallways and stuff. It's definitely different. But once I got into it, man, I really got into it, and now I'm especially excited for 8.
Oh, that's badass.
You know what, man? That's good that you decided to do that, though, because that was really Village was my reason for finally growing some balls and jumping into Resident Evil 7. To be honest with you, so
yeah,
man, no, that's cool. So, what did you finish it yet or no?
Yeah, I finished it. I finished it like 5 minutes before the demo went live for
Nice.
Village. But I'm like, all right, that's cool, but I'm gonna take a couple hours break because I've been playing Resident Evil all day.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it took me a while to play that because I've been busy at work, and that's just like not the easiest game. After you finish work to come down to, it's like, all right, let's get a bunch of jump scares, the shit scared out of us for like a couple hours. So it took me a minute to warm up to it.
Let's turn that heart rate up, baby.
It's not really again, man, I've said this like multiple times. You get over the horror aspect.
Yeah.
that itself, you get over it, but obviously it stays there because you're talking about jump scares and shit. It's I just learned how to manage that fucking tension. That's it. Because, and no matter how much you keep preparing yourself that there's going to be something on the other side or whatever it is, it's never enough. Because as soon as something pops up, you're kind of like, oh, especially those big fucking black oozy fungus things.
Yes.
Oh man.
God, I hate those goddamn things, man. Yeah, those.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin is right, man. Definitely. I am definitely a full grown man now. By the way, I am gonna try the DLC though at some point. I hope.
Very cool, Mo. Very
At some
cool.
point, and I hope, because I don't know. There's something apparently that ties into the whatever. We'll get to the demo later, but it ties into Village.
Yeah,
So.
I know what you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, what you been
What's up,
playing,
baby?
bro?
Well, I've been playing a few things. Mortal Kombat, baby. Get ready for Friday. I've been whooping that ass, getting my ass whooped. I love every minute of it. I got two buddies who like don't play fighting games. They like Mortal Kombat, but I'm like trying to teach them like the little like jargon and tipping and footsies and like rhythmatic, like how the rhythm goes and why players are kicking your ass and why can you block or why can you not block. Like, dude, it is so good. So, and I posted that one video on Twitter that was like me laughing or whatever about my buddy.
Dude, that was the best part of the video, man. You laughing.
Because, well, the funny thing is that like it was literally his second day, right? And so like we always start off for like the first hour, like private match, training room, just like I'm like kind of like teaching him and squaring off against him. So he sucks, basically, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's all good, you know what I mean? And so we get in some King of the Hill matches. He's getting his ass whooped round after round, and you see him like the third time fighting that Johnny Cage, and you could tell that Johnny Cage is just like, oh, you're new, basically. And he just backs up, and so he gets that special, and it was just so gold because I remember doing that myself where I was like, yeah, you probably think I suck. I'm just going to sit here and block, and then right when you get close, I'm going to nail you with that move. And, oh, man, you could tell he just got upset. But anyways, that's why I like that game, because it's got those moments where you're just like, you really, because it's a fighting game like that, you really know, like, I'm more skillful than you. Like, I really got the one up on you for a reason, and it's excellent. And then Diablo, which is great. And I've even played Avengers on Xbox, and, dude, I'll tell you right now, I'm not having a good time. I'll tell you why. One,
see how we prepped us for it? He's like, I'm not having a good time, guys.
well, dude, it's bad, man. So Kamala's face the entire time in the beginning, during cutscenes, during gameplay, is like this PS3 shit. So I'm like, no. I have pictures, bros. Every time I turn my console on or not my console, but that game on, my Xbox One S, it pulls up the character screen. Every time I pull it up, I have to take a picture just to prove it, just to like prove my point, dude. Only 3 characters show up. And it should be like all 8 of them or whatever. And then, strangely though, this week, Hulk started to appear. So now I got 4 characters. And I'm like, I can't get behind this shit, man. Like, I'm sorry. And I get like this because I like the game. I like the game. So I can talk shit about the game. That's what we're dealing with? I digress. That's all I got to say about that. But anyway.
Oh, now you digress.
I'm just not having a good time because it's like
once he got it all off his chest.
Like, it's just not an experience that like you were that you would be expecting. Anyways. What about you, Mo? How are you doing? What are you playing lately, my boy?
Well, Now that you asked.
Now that he digressed,
Now that you finally digressed. Yeah, man, I have not had any mindset to jump into a you know, again, I've been telling you guys for like the last couple of weeks. I still haven't like committed to any game. You know, initially it was Disco Elysium, then I stopped. Not because the game sucks. I actually love the game, but I want to dedicate time for it, and I just don't want to right now to any like, you know, single player narratively driven game. Then I started playing Oddworld. Oddworld is good, man. Oddworld is good. I'm telling
So
you. If you
happy to
guys
hear
got a
that.
PS5 and you have PS Plus, which I'm assuming you do, I swear to God, you need to play that game. It starts out, the environments themselves, you know, initially it starts out okay, you know, starts out good, but then like the levels just expand so much more, and then what you see in the background, that's actual geometry to where you'll actually be at some point in the level.
Oh, that's
You know,
sick.
it's not just there for landscape purposes. You know, like I mean, it's actually, you do actually get to that point at some point. So I think
That's
that's
cool.
actually pretty cool. Yeah, especially for a 2.5D type of presentation and whatnot. And then obviously the elephant in the room is Diablo 3. I fucking hate myself for well, I mean, I don't, hey man, yeah, I admit it. I told you guys before, I never played Diablo. I never really was interested in Diablo, and then you know, Ains and Bomber and these guys, and then Kevin also, I know he's a Diablo veteran,
Slappy.
you know, so finally I bought Diablo 3 and I started playing it, and dude, I've been fucking obsessed with it since Friday night. It's been amazing.
Sucked you in, man.
It really does, man. You know, like I mean, because I've played looters here and there. You know, I've never been like I not no looters have ever fully kept me engaged, right? Like I mean, to a point where like I kept wanting to play and wanting to play. Like initially it was just about, hey, I'll play this game because my friends are playing it. You know, but this game just has that, it's the best combination. It's just the most synchronous combination of grinding and loot rewards I've ever seen. Like it rewards you, right? Like I mean, it dangles it just enough for you to kind of be like, okay, you know, let me just get there. And once you get there, you actually get it, right? And then once you get whatever, and then once you get the loot, you're like, wow, this is fucking awesome. It's just it's virtual crack. I swear
Yeah,
to
you
God.
feel the difference.
It is the definition of virtual crack, at least to me. Like, I mean, it's just you always want more. You keep wanting more. And I never, ever thought that I would get myself to a point where I would be like that. Shit, let alone with Diablo. But now I'm looking forward to the Diablo 2 remaster or remake, and
Hell
obviously
yeah.
Diablo 4 whenever it comes out. But yeah, man, it's been amazing. It's been fun. It's been excellent. We've been having some good runs these last couple nights, and I can't fucking wait to play again. Hopefully tonight. But yeah, that's
Crusader Mo, baby.
yeah. My Crusader's a badass, man. I like the way he looks. But yeah, so other than that, let's dive straight into the nitty gritty. First of all, to just bring it up just because of the fact that I think it's you know, I think it's relevant, definitely. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, it has gone gold. And on top of going gold, these every week they keep revealing more and more things that they're doing with that they did for Mass Effect, right? And obviously they BioWare released some visual improvements, you know, as far as like what they did for the game, you know, and just resolution bumps, you know, to 4K and more than 30,000 improvements. Apparently, this is just to Mass Effect 1. We're not even talking about, you know, the rest of the trilogy itself. Obviously, Mass Effect 1 is the one that needed the most work out of all of them, but you know, some of the things, at least 30,000 individual improved textures, improved lighting, FX, higher polygon models, added detail to the barren areas, more foliage, completely re-rendered cutscenes in 4K, hundreds of bug fixes. It's a massive, massive effort. And if you actually watch the video that they posted to see, you know, where they show you side by side, you know, of the games, how they used to look versus how they look in the Legendary Edition, dude, it's amazing. You know, and considering that it's Unreal Engine 3, which is dated at this point, they made it basically look as good as they possibly can, right? So I have no complaints with it. Honestly, I can't wait to dive back in. My biggest thing, honestly, is all the new people that are about to jump into the series for the first time that have never played it before. I'm so fucking envious of all of you, right? Because it's probably one of the most engaging series, in terms of character building and worlds, and it just absolutely sucks you in, man, and it invests you, and you become invested, and you become to like the characters and some of the decisions that you have to make. I mean, if you haven't played it, I really, really envy you, and I can't wait to see. And also, the people that initially tried Mass Effect 1 and walked away just because of the fact that, the gameplay was a little dated. Some of the things they did in the game, obviously, compared to 2 and 3. We've said before, 2 and 3 were really streamlined compared to 1. So now they basically got 1, well, at what we're assuming to be or hoping to be at the level of 2 and 3 in terms of gameplay. And that's all it needed, right? So me personally, story-wise, 1 is my favorite, but that's a debate that'll go on for forever. Some will tell you 2, some will tell you 1. So I'm glad to see that, man. Kevin, are you jumping into Mass Effect, homie?
I'm pumped.
Yeah, you are pumped, man. I can tell, baby.
The more I look at it, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But I'm probably gonna do it, and I'm probably gonna buy the physical because the steel case looks dope. And yeah,
there's 2 of them, by the way.
There's 2 steel cases.
There's one steel. So there's one steel case. There's a steel case. I feel like a fucking old fart saying steel case. There's one steel. There's one steel book that comes with that collector's edition from BioWare that doesn't have the game, and then there's another one actually from Best Buy. If you pre-order it from Best Buy, you get it
from Best Buy.
Yeah, I definitely did
that.
Looks
pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty dope, man. It's nice.
I'll probably fucking get it. I don't
know
if
you
I'm gonna
will
play it right away, but I'm actually really excited for all the bug fixes and just the quality of life shit for Mass Effect 1 because that's my favorite.
Yeah.
And if I just play that for now and wait on 2 and 3. Because 2 and 3 are so much fresher in my mind.
Yeah.
Because I played
they
them.
are.
I actually have only played them once through.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
played them. Yeah, I played each one on release and just played it like that. So it's been a long time since I played ME1. So yeah, no, man, I'm excited, and to have it all in a trilogy wrapped up like that for $60. Fuck yeah, man! Like, how can you not buy that?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. And they're not fucking with online stuff, I don't think, right?
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah,
man.
No, I'm happy too. That we all learned from the Master Chief Collection how that can be a clusterfuck. Yeah, no, I'm excited, man. And the people that are gonna play that for the first time, fuck yeah! Like, I don't know, man. You don't get better than Mass Effect. You really don't.
Look at the comparisons that they're showing over here, right? Look at the fucking Mako. Look at man.
Yeah, that's cool.
It looks it's amazing how much better it looks. I'm telling you, man. But yeah, dude, it's
this footage is from the official website.
Yeah, this is from the official website. That's good. So, Dash, have you ever played Mass Effect?
I have. I haven't played all of them, so I'm really excited that I'm gonna get this opportunity to jump into all of them in one package. I was one of those guys that actually walked away from Mass Effect 1. I think I gave it a couple of hours, and it was it was a little bit of it felt like a little bit of a slow burn. It didn't really hook me in. But then I think when 2 came out, and just like the hype and sort of the momentum around that and the critical reception to that, like that was something that you just couldn't ignore. And I got really into 2. I loved 2. That was, I think, came out in 2010. That was like my game of the year that year. So I really, really liked 2. And then 3 was one of those games where I think I bought and never took out of the shrink wrap. And just collected dust on my shelf. So I'm excited to play all 3 of them, but really it's going to be my chance to like really experience 1 and 3.
Right.
And yeah, the graphics, I mean, they look fine. They look great. I've been playing a lot of old games lately anyways, where I would have probably been fine with the older graphics. I was playing Ocarina of Time recently again. So I'm used to some of the rougher edges recently. It's not all about, the 4K stuff, but the quality of life stuff, like Kevin was saying, man, like getting 1 to sort of borrow some of the features, the things that 2 and 3 do really well, without changing the game, that's like super appealing to me.
That's awesome, man. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Mike, are you going to pop your Mass Effect cherry or what, man? What's up?
All right, so I know Mass Effect is going to fill this little hunger that I'm wanting when it comes to sci-fi, you know, and because I've never really, like, I wanted Andromeda to be good, or that last one, whatever it's called, I have no idea, because it looked cool, but then people were like, it sucks, whatever. But to me, this is going to be one of those things, the next time I feel like I want that space odyssey, or like I did with Halo, like, I'm definitely going to get this game. Plus all the story stuff.
So that's the thing. I mean, look, Halo's Halo. You know, that for me is like sacred territory. But if you thought Halo Space Odyssey was
really,
you know, oh, dude,
what?
Oh my God!
Really? Okay. Okay. All right.
No. Like Halo is a space odyssey, but this is a space odyssey. Yeah. Like I mean, that's the best way for me to tell you. So,
okay.
You know what I really liked about Mass Effect is that it keeps you like you can come back to it, and it's not. It was so well done that like you could like go for a week or two, a month, and come back and know exactly where you left off. Like you know, you look at the map, you got a mission lined up, you realize who's still on your crew, you know who you need to go with, and I was never tempted to, I never forgot the story. A lot of other games just aren't as memorable. You know? So if you leave a game for a month and you go back and you're like, what the fuck is this? What the hell was I even doing?
Right.
No, this game like sticks with you. Man. And yeah. If it takes you a year to play Mass Effect 1, so be it. Like it's that good.
Okay, cool. Like
and you can romance. Oh,
I mean, go ahead, Dash.
I mean, dude, it's even to a point where you have to consider what you want to do with a fucking bug.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about a small bug. But no, the choices carry with you. It's very I don't even want to, honestly, man. I know the games are old and we can technically talk about them, but I'm not going to, for purpose. And then Doom, you're asking, is it a shooter? It is a third-person shooter. And but it's also it's an RPG, so it's an RPG shooter if that tickles your fancy. So on top of that, really, it's the narrative that just drives everything home, and then the gameplay in 2 and 3 just improved on 1. So as long as they can get that, nail that in, that should be pretty freaking cool, man. Cover shooter RPG, yes. Dash just answered it. Thank you, my friend. That is right. So yeah, man, we're looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's gonna be next month, along with everything else that's coming out, which we will get to later on. But looking forward to it, man.
May will be a good month.
May will be a good month. Okay. So the next topic is, or I wanted to dive into. Okay, man. Look, a lot of people think, well, not a lot of people think, but whenever I bitch about something or say something on Twitter, it's just because I get to this point where I just see so many people pile on, or so many people say things or wrong takes or whatever it is. And it really gets me curious as to how these things are just taken and ran away with, like you start hearing a couple things from a couple of people, depending on who you're listening to. And then all of a sudden it becomes gospel and everybody just runs away with it. The one thing that I wanted to touch on regarding this is the PlayStation Indies situation. Apparently, after the whole Schreier thing came out, the whole article that came out last week that we discussed, and then for some reason, everybody started jumping on this train that apparently PlayStation is not supporting indies, or there's a concern that they're not going to support indies. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay. I was like, I understand Jim Ryan once himself said, because he keeps opening his fucking mouth. I understand once Jim Ryan himself said that they're not going to put as much emphasis on indies as they used to before. Fine, right? But if he's talking about from a marketing perspective, right, I don't see it. And the reason why I don't see it is because everybody's sitting here talking about like, oh, Sony's gonna get away from the indies. In February, their entire PlayStation State of Play was indies. In fact, people were mad that there was barely anything else except for indies on that State of Play. Last month in one day, they revealed 7 new indie games where they did it over like the entire day. Every couple hours, they were revealing a new indie game, right? So I'm not understanding this concern that everybody's coming out with, right? And I think this is all getting shuffled into the good moves that Xbox is making, right? Everything right now that Xbox is doing, which is good, right? Everything that they're doing that is good is being taken in a negative connotation when it comes to Sony because of their silence. Right? That's the way I'm interpreting it, right? So, but at the same time, and again, I'll get to this later, right? But why am I sitting here saying, why are the fans doing more talking for them than they are for themselves when it comes to these kinds of situations? And especially for something like this. Now, the fans themselves don't necessarily have to come to their defense, but just from this perspective, I'm looking at it and I'm like, where the fuck is this concern coming from that Sony all of a sudden is going to drop indies or Sony's not going to make indies when I just gave you the 2 examples in the last 2 months of what they've been doing? Indies are still big on the PlayStation platform and they'll still continue to be. I mean, I think Oddworld Soulstorm is considered an indie, right? I mean, they put that front and center as a PS Plus release, and then obviously Sifu and everything else that I told you guys, right? And then Jeffrey Grubb himself put out an article a few days ago, and he knocked this as well. Initially, he was talking about, the way Sony looks to, optics, right? Optics in terms of Jim Ryan and this whole business-like stature that they currently have, versus the good PR, the friendly, hey, we like to play video games, Sony, And then he also threw in there, in the article, he also threw about some sort of concern about them supposedly like being a lack or about them like kind of like skimping on smaller games in the future, especially like with indie titles. And he actually got shit for it from people, which I was happy to see. SkillUp said, he's like, I agree with your SkillUp. He retweeted it or whatever. And he said, I agree, about the whole Sony thing about, the optics. He's like, but in terms of indies, he's like, I don't agree with that. Right. And then he had to actually re-edit. He had to edit the initial report, the initial release that he had, because I don't know, maybe he just received enough criticism and he actually did more fucking homework and he's like, oh, wait a second, they're still actually supporting indies. So, we'll get to the Sony thing, optics later on. But as far as like indies go or smaller games go, I personally don't think that this is going to go anywhere. Especially with the recent 2 months, just the last 2 months alone that I just mentioned. Kevin, what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, I mean, you've said your piece. That's fact. That's not even personal. Like that's
It's not.
No, I don't see the concern. I mean, if they had a concern, right, then why would they support, Housemarque releasing Returnal as this AAA title? I mean, think about that. That's the ultimate move, where they basically had indie-ish titles, for years and years and years, and Sony gets behind them and says, "Yo, let's do this AAA release." Like that's risk. That's a whole bunch of shit, right, wrapped up in there. So there's just no reason for people to think that Sony's not behind indies. I mean, it's just silly. It's like you said before. It's just clout chasing. I don't even know where this shit starts.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Influencer, I guarantee you.
All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, we're concerned about Sony and supporting indies. Like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? What?
I think if you have enough followers and you say anything,
yes, that's what it is.
Oh my god,
it just snowballs, dude. That's I got nothing else to say on that. It's stupid. I don't even. Yeah.
No. Dash, what do you think, man? You're a PlayStation fan. What do you think
I'm
of
a
this whole
PlayStation fan. I was about to bring my PlayStation shirt to this, just bring a little blue to this podcast. So I think it's coming from three main areas. I mean, the Jason Schreier article. Then there was the Jeff Grubb one, and then just Twitter in general. And if you catch Twitter on any day, they'll have a bone to pick about anything, valid or not. They will. And we could dive into how they're picking apart the former Days Gone creative director John Garvin's interview with Jeff. We could pick that apart too. But so far, two of those three, right? Jason Schreier went on to the Min Max show, and he said, "Oh, well, you know what? I wish I had written this, and that in the article, because a lot of people, their takeaway was PlayStation is just going to keep milking the Last of Us, franchises, the big blockbusters and all that." And a lot of that, it was just like it was studio decision. It was, the Last of Us remake that started from a small team in San Diego, and then the Naughty Dog team picked it up because they really had nothing else to work on after they were finishing Last of Us 2. And so he walked back some of those things, and then Jeff Grubb, I think, tried to ride some of that hype, ride some of that angst against PlayStation, and it did not go his way. I listened to his podcast too afterwards, and he had a rough week. He didn't like the backlash he got from it. I think he made some really valid points about Jim Ryan, sort of the overall PR and everything. But again, I think people are trying to create a compelling narrative with these pieces. There is clout chasing that they're trying to do, and it's not always accurate. Not only the state of play that Sony had mostly indie games, which, by the way, the feedback of the backlash was, "Where are all the big PS5 games? I spent $500 on this machine, and you're showing me a bunch of indie games." And I was like, "Man, there's a lot of cool games in that." But yeah, and that's what I said. They got a bone to pick one way or another. You just got to catch them on whatever day. And but not only their state of play, but there are two game showcases. Indies were at the forefront of it. The Canas, the Little Devil Inside, the Strays, the Solar Ashes. They're all sitting side by side. There isn't here's the indie segment now, or they're sitting side by side with the Spider-Mans and so on. So I think Sony's commitment is strong to indies. They got Shuhei Yoshida running that side, and I think he got shifted over more from the big first party development into more of the indie side, and I think that's a good role for him. And Mo, I think you covered it. I mean, between all the blog posts, they're constantly tweeting about it. In terms of small games coming out of Sony, Kevin, you nailed it. I mean, Returnal, that's as risky as you get right there. You got a roguelike game that you're launching 6 months into a console's life cycle at $70. That's commitment to new ideas, new IPs. Are they going to bet on the franchises that the God of Wars and the Last of Us's and all that? Yeah, but they're also going to have the smaller teams like the Pixel Opus team that did Concrete Genie and all that. So it's there. I think it is a lot of narrative shifting, and like I said, depending on the day, it's going to go well or it's not.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. I agree, man. And that's I don't know, dude. It's that type of shit drives me nuts, because it is all narrative, and you just have to look at the recent history, to know it. And I think everything is just getting tied in, just again, because of the silence and the PR and how every good move from their competition is being accentuated, and because of that, you roll all this up into it, and it's just like, oh yeah, all of a sudden Sony's not going to do this or Sony's not going to do that. It's just fucking ridiculous, man.
And I don't, Jason Schreier is a respected reporter. I follow Jeff Grubb. I like Jeff Grubb and all that. Kevin, you reacted to respected by and I'm not necessarily discrediting them entirely. I think there is, the Days Gone devs themselves, they said there is truth and there is credibility into those. I'm just saying that they are going to sort of craft a story to tell one specific aspect of it, and then Twitter and the media is going to run away with it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Clicks,
Yeah.
money.
Mike, what's your take on indies, homie?
Well, I'm not going to rehash exactly what you guys said because I mean, I get it, but it does make me think that the veteran gamers have always been more keen to look at official websites, look more into like where the word is coming from, instead of nowadays where it's like, oh, I follow that one dude who has 200,000 followers. I just get my news from him. Like, he's a fan too, don't forget.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Yeah.
because he goes to some fucking, convention with a little ID pass doesn't mean he knows more about the game that's being released. Like, come on, people. Like, and that's another thing too. I don't think people realize that some of these games, their ideas started 4 fucking years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think they have all this stuff planned out when they're spending millions and they're shelling out to help support this small little studio get their game off the ground? You don't think they're worried about that? Dude, everything is planned. And yeah, and when you get on Twitter, you can like really see that. You can really see that they don't really care about like what is actually happening. They just care about like, hey, look what I'm saying and look how I'm saying it. It makes those other people look really bad. Like, because I need the likes. And it's like, what you're saying is not false, but it's definitely like, yeah, you're spinning that rhetoric in like a weird way where it's just like, this is not what video games is about. Stop. But yeah, I feel you, man.
Even video
we'll
games,
see.
video games have propaganda.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
There's even propaganda in video games, man. It ain't just politics.
Seriously.
It's fucking hilarious. I swear to God. Oh man, but yeah, dude. I think that whole narrative is just fucking stupid. We'll get into later. About some of the shortcomings, at least we think. Just from an optics perspective and whatnot. But I can at least say, in terms of indies or supporting smaller games or whatever it is, from my understanding or just from the reading that I've done, I don't fucking see this going anywhere. I understand they, I understand. Yeah, no, people kind of eye rolled at the whole news of the Last of Us remake or whatever it is, or them prioritizing their bigger games. Yeah, kind of sounds lame. But at the same time, I still don't think that that's something that they're going to get away from. But we'll get to that later. So the next thing I wanted to bring up with you guys is the update, the new PS5 April update. So apparently it brought new storage options and social features, which was actually nice to see because they finally fucking decided to catch up to 2021. So now the PS5 storage expansion and management, now you can store your PS5 games on compatible external USB drives. That was at least one of them. We all know PS5, initially it came out, you couldn't store your PS5 games on external drives. It's either on the internal drive or nothing. PS4 games you can, but PS5 games you couldn't. Now you can store them on the PS5 drive, but you can't play them off the PS5. I'm sorry, you can't play them off the external. So they have to be shipped back into the internal. But it's a good first step at least. It's better than nothing. And then they added some new social features, cross-gen share play between PS4 and PS5, which was nice. Request to join game sessions, enhanced control and personalization options for the PS5, including the game base. I personally have not turned on my PS5 this week, so I don't know. The updates or like these quality of life improvements, but I don't know if you guys have. I do think that at least, even adding some improvements to the game base, because people have been complaining about the game base, and me personally, I'm not very happy with it. I still don't know how to properly start a fucking chat party and invite people to it. I swear to God, I don't.
I haven't tried.
I don't know how to do that on the PS5. I still don't know how. Now, I haven't made enough of an effort to do that, but it shouldn't take a fucking effort to start a chat party. Really, that's my whole point. So I don't know if they fixed that. If they fixed it on that end. Did you guys?
Not
did you
really.
guys take a look at that? What is it? What'd you say?
I said not really.
They didn't. Huh? It was still the same shit.
Yeah, I think they try to fix like it's the game base, right, where you have all your friends and your parties and all that. They try to add a little bit more clarity where it's like now it's tabs, they're separated, but it's the same thing. Like the UI is beautiful, but man, it like the user experience of it, like Kevin, you and I were talking about this a week or two ago. They clearly didn't do extensive usability tests, or the team that they have in charge there is more UI focused and less so like UX focused.
Right.
A couple areas, like, same thing. Like my primary console right now is the PS5, and I still have to, like, every single time I finish a voice chat with a buddy, I'm like, all right, man, see you later. And it's like 37 seconds of frantic breathing, trying to get out of the chat. And it's like this awkward breathing where you can still hear each other, because it's hidden behind like 7 or 8 menus before you can leave the chat. So it's super convoluted. I think people have pointed out a couple other areas where, like, the overall UX isn't great, like powering off your console. That was a step back from the PS4. So
powering off your console is like trying to put in the Konami code or some shit. Like it should not be that hard. I've heard this new update does update your controllers as well. What I found funny, both good and bad here, is you do have to plug them in to get set up.
Yes.
Which is interesting, because Xbox, you do not have to plug them in to get your updates. So, I was surprised. I'm gonna say it how it is. I was surprised that you had to plug them in. But I do notice that I feel like the feedback's a little stronger now, and I don't know if that's just a figment of my imagination. But I searched for it, and other people noticed it's not in the notes, but the vibration and the haptic feedback feels a little more intense, which I think people wanted. But yeah, the plugging in of the controllers was weird. I noticed a couple of tweaks, but it almost feels like the first iteration of the Xbox One UI, where they're trying to do things differently. Like, it's super pretty. It's a good looking UI, but the user experience portion of it is not all there. So I foresee some compromises down the line where they shift some shit around, and get it just to be more fluid. It's awkward to me.
Yeah,
it really is.
So, it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I do agree. It is a little awkward, man. Like, and I think it's probably going to take them a while to just kind of get it where they want it to be. Some people were like, well, why didn't you just keep the same PS4 user interface?
It worked, but it was
I know. But the thing with Sony, like, their shtick, Sony's shtick is every single console that comes out, it's a new generation, right? So for them, putting you a new user interface is part of that whole new experience thing. So we were just so used to the PS4 one for so long. We're kind of like, hey, why'd you fuck with this, man? Just leave it alone. Why did you do this?
The
Xbox did that, right? Xbox was like, hey, we're not touching ours. We're good.
Yeah, the power button thing just cements that. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Like, how did that get past anything? That you can't just hold down the fucking button to turn it off. I don't know, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Press right 15 times. It's just awful.
I think they scrambled to maybe get it all up and ready to go, because when they launched the store, they have a digital only SKU, right? When they launched the store was, again, pretty, but like the sales section wasn't even there. So there was a sale that was happening at the same time. And people are like, I can't even see the games that are on sale right now. Like, not only is it frustrating people, but what's the money they're leaving on the table by not investing in proper UX and strategy. So I think that's a weakness to them right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it definitely is, man. I think that's something that they need to again, like, actually Kevin touched on it pretty well, right? Like, even Xbox, when they first launched, their current UI. Initially, in the initial stages, they kept fixing it, throughout last gen, and then it was choppy, and they fixed it, and now it's at a point where it's fucking awesome, man. It's just so easy to use. It's so easy to use, So Sony needs to just, they need to keep working on it from that standpoint, and then they still haven't told us, obviously, about I know they said it's coming in the summer, about the expansion drives. I think people's I think people's patience for that are starting to run a little bit thin because they're running out of space to store games. So I'm hoping at least that's something that they can reveal to us soon. Better than nothing, that they're actually we're at least able to store PS5 games on an external late to the party, but hopefully they at least they get that corrected. Daniel Trevino. Let's see. It's because you guys bought a development kit on launch day. The system wasn't ready to launch, but they launched it anyway. Well, you know what, man? I guess we did. That's the way it is every console generation.
Yeah.
The ones who buy first are the suckers, are the guinea pigs, and I have never ever fell short. I have never fell short of that status. So I can't blame you for that one.
Even
Sounds like thanks
two
for the user
updates
testing.
ago.
What is it?
Go ahead, Dash.
Oh, I was just saying, Sony was like, thanks for all the user testing you guys are doing for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. What were you saying, Mike?
Like 2 updates ago, they reworked, like, because y'all were saying about chats and stuff.
Yeah.
And because of these updates, that's what they're like trying to figure out, right? Or at least some of like the improvements I've seen. So they switched it, and they switched like how your buddy. This is just a very minor thing, but it's still enough for me to be like, yo, what the fuck? While I'm playing and trying to get my buddies in a chat and like find them, they switched like the alphabetical order and all that kind of stuff. And then the next update came and it like changed it kind of like halfway back the way it was. And then this update changed it where now it's all kind of the same, but it just works better. Like you can see your friends like online on the PS4, kind of like on Xbox where it's like Xbox Home and stuff like that. And because I spend like a good equal amount of time on both, granted it's still like last gen and stuff like that, but they really truly both, man, like have pros and cons at their own equal, like the way they share, the way they trim, and the way the UI works. Like, and I can tell you right now, I do feel like PlayStation is still like trying to figure all that stuff out.
They do have their pros and cons for sure. They it's still easier to share off of a PS5, right? Like to share screenshots and videos and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Xbox has already said they've been working on it. They know that it's not very intuitive. So yeah, there's definitely more pros and cons. But the thing is still on the PS5 side, they need to just get that user interface just better. To the point where what you're saying,
you don't have to think about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
I think they can definitely take some pointers from the beta testing that we did on the Xbox, where it felt like every other fucking week there was a new update that changed the way things were. So Xbox last gen actually started to annoy me, like because we saw I think 6 or 7 iterations of that fucking dashboard.
They were just throwing it like,
and I'm
which
like,
one's
all
good?
right, like which one are you guys gonna fucking keep? Because I don't want to rework my thinking of how to navigate this every time I launch the console.
Right?
Were they all? Were they all very different? Okay.
They were. Some were extremely different. Like you went from that whole Windows 8 tile thing to the dashboard blade thing to somewhere in between, and then the navigation shifted from your paddles to the left-right buttons, and it was it was all over the place, right? So every time you launch your Xbox, the next month update would make you navigate differently. And I mean, we're all human and we adapted, right? But it got to the point where it's like, holy shit, where the PS4 just hit it on the mark, stayed the same, and we never saw a single navigation update for it, right? But I think this gen, the PS5, those users are going to be surprised because I think they're going to tweak it many, many times. I think we'll be like 2 years in before we get a final actual UX based on how rough it seems now. It's pretty to look at, but it's like a Porsche with no engine, right? I mean, it's like it's so pretty to look at. It's 4K. It's I like looking at it more than the Xbox dashboard. But the second I start trying to navigate it, fuck, dude. It's a shit show.
Damn. Okay, interesting.
It's a shit show.
Like you can do basic things, Mike. Okay, like I mean, it's not like you're gonna be lost. You're like, oh my god,
you're not gonna be lost. Nothing that you expect is not. Where
nothing like that. But just basic stuff that you want to, that's just part of your everyday gaming experience, like starting a fucking party chat, right? even like little things like that just need to be improved, right? Like, I mean, now we just do it without, before we did it without thinking, but now it's kind of like there's like these little extra steps you have to take, or to quit out of games, or to even power off your fucking console, where like he was talking about. PS4, you hold down the button, off.
Power. Yeah.
Xbox, you hold down the button, off or rest. This one, no. You have to press the button, go to home base, go to power, press enter, go to and then you have to go to rest. You see how many steps I just listed?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, hopefully they'll be able to fix that. All right. To bring this up, just because I felt like it needed to be brought up. Ubisoft, they said their next forward event is actually kicking off E3. So their event is running on June 12th So E3 2021, we already know that it's running June 12th to the 15th. Ubisoft is having their event called Ubisoft Forward, and that's going to take place on June 12th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So they're actually going to kick off the show with their own show. And then, they said there's updates on Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Parasite, Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansions, maybe Beyond Good and Evil 2. There was a list that was possibly leaked. I'm not going to put it up here because, it's just kind of fucking pointless. But I didn't see Splinter Cell on there. And I should be used to, knowing by now that I'm never going to see Splinter Cell on there. It's just not going to happen.
Don't say that.
So it's just not going to happen.
Make me sad.
No, I want to will it into existence by just denying the fact that it's ever going to exist, right? So I'm hoping at least that they will I know what Wild Boy Wiley still I know. Look what he said over here. It blows my mind it's pronounced Ubisoft. For a large portion of my life, I pronounced it Ubisoft. There are still a lot of people that pronounce it Ubisoft, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just
it's okay.
Yeah, no, there's Ubi, there's Ubi. Hey man, you take your pick, baby. It all works. So anyway, yeah, I just, me personally, I don't care for Assassin's Creed anymore. I don't play Rainbow Six. This is not to shit on the games. This is not the shit on the games. I'm just saying it's just not my personal taste, to be honest with you. But I'm hoping at least they'll surprise me. But Kevin, what do you think of? What do you think? What do you think they're going to show? Honestly, do you think there's going to be any surprises?
No.
Okay, that's my point. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Right.
This comes from the dude that played Ghost Recon Wildlands to play a specific mission where Sam Fisher was in, it. So I want Splinter Cell, and their money makers are just they're getting long in the tooth. I'm over Assassin's Creed at this point. I'm over Far Cry. It still piques my interest just a little bit, depending on where the story goes. But it's Far Cry, and I don't know, dude. I don't see any surprise if they came out with a next gen, fully updated Sam Fisher fucking anything, like Sam Fisher in Overcooked or some shit. Like I don't even fucking care, man. Just bring that franchise back.
Please. You know what else too, man? You know what I just thought of? I'm sorry. Maybe this is a stupid association, but I really can't help but think it. Everybody wants, everyone talks about, this whole past week about how Sony wants to stick to the, to their only AAA games, or they want to play it safe. They want to play it safe with their main experiences, right? Why the fuck haven't we heard the same about Ubisoft? Right? Like, are they not playing it safe with all of their IPs? These large, expansive, open world games that is the same fucking formula all across.
Literally.
You just redress it differently.
Reskins.
Are they not, I don't get it. That's at least just my take on it. Aren't they playing it safe as well? So how come their feet aren't held to the fire over there? Or maybe they are, considering the fact that just last week or 2 weeks ago, the reports came out that they actually they did not meet their financial expectations, which means they know something is wrong.
Nice. Okay.
There's
I don't mean to disrespect them by saying
no, that's okay. No, fuck that. Yeah, that's fine. I was happy. I'm okay with that. They're rich, dude. They're gonna keep making money. So if they know they're doing something wrong,
So, like, here's the thing, too. When you get into, like, when you're working with a team, because video games, just in case if you guys didn't know, are made by more than one person. So, whenever you're getting to a team and you start creating that thing and you got that general flow of income coming, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I think Ubisoft got real comfortable in like, you know, their ever since Origins, I would say, maybe even before. Like, I don't play every fucking Ubisoft game, but I've played For Honor, I've played Division 1 and 2, I've played every single Assassin's Creed game. Like, I've played their games, you know. So it's like one of those things where it's like, and it was kind of like a little bit of last year, Mo. That's why when I hear you say, like, I'm over Assassin's Creed, I'm just like, oh, no. It breaks my heart. But I totally get it, man. Like, I totally get it. Whenever it's, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing, you get lazy. You know, your creativity doesn't really whatever. There's kind of word on the street about, like, a new Assassin's Creed in Brazil. And I'm just like, I can't get hyped for that because a lot of fans are wanting it in Japan. And it's just like, whatever. Far Cry 6, Far Cry 5 was my first thing. And I was like, this is a cool game, but I probably won't go like back to this as like, ooh, I really want to play this game, like a God of War or, you know, anything else really. You know what I mean? It was just like a good one-off, cool first-person place. Like, but yeah, Ubisoft is kind of like, I literally, while y'all were talking, I was like, this sounds like Konami. Like, you just got all these bangers. Like, the only difference is Ubisoft is actually making other games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
right.
They both have dead franchises, but at least, like, Ubisoft still makes games compared to fucking pachinko machines.
It's like,
you
let's
know?
resurrect some shit here, man. This is a turn of a generation. This is when you do it. You got new gamers coming in. You know, get Assassin's Creed back to the basics, or like a spin-off where it's like, ooh, this is Assassin's Creed whatever. It's not so blown up open world, but it's like this little side piece, like a Ghost of Tsushima almost, where you're just like on an island and it's like a little bit more basic or something, but it has like arcadey, let's say, in that sense.
I want to see Ubisoft come out with some shit like Beyond Good and Evil 2. You know, or
where is that been?
Different,
exactly.
You know, like, where is that Ubisoft?
I mean, here, even Steve right here says, he's like, they haven't dropped a dope small game like Child of Light recently, but I hope they do it again. And he's right.
Exactly.
He's right. That's a small fucking. That was a little great turn-based RPG.
Right.
It was beautiful, gorgeous art style. You know, I mean, and they just stopped. You know, I mean, because they decided to take on this persona of open world games that just keep you as busy as possible. We've talked about this hundreds of times before. I don't want to get back into that, but come on, man. What the fuck? What do I got to do for Splinter Cell? My God, what the fuck? Please.
What do I gotta suck, man?
Seriously, man, what the fuck?
For real.
Dude, exclusive. I don't care what you put it on. Just fucking give it to me.
For real, man.
Yeah, he'll play it on Stadia. He will. He told me.
I don't care. I'll play it on fucking. Never mind.
Maybe.
Slow down a little bit here. I'll probably end up getting a Stadia subscription. I swear to God, I think if they were to somehow say, "Hey, it's exclusive to Stadia," Google bought the rights, whatever it is,
You'd buy it.
I would fucking get Stadia.
Yeah, you would. Because
yeah,
I
would
too.
Yeah, for Splinter Cell, no question.
I would. I'd play it and I'd cancel it.
Yeah. So at least, like, look, if their way of experimenting before, if their way of experimenting, you know, with these types of games is by remaking Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, I'm okay with that. We all know about the reveal and how shitty it looked, or, you know, according to a lot of people. I mean, honestly, no, I'm not even according to a lot of people. I wasn't really too impressed with it. I'm not gonna fucking bullshit you, you know, but if that's their way of experimenting with these types of games to see whether there's actually still a market for them, you know, fine. I'm okay with that. Remake them, remaster them, do whatever you want, right? You can fucking bring the entire Splinter Cell saga on disc or whatever it is and put it on and see if it sells or not. And if you feel like there's still a market for it, by all means.
Diego out of chat. Look at what he just said. Look, no.
Splinter Cell, bigger and better on iOS, Android. You know what, Diego?
Exactly. That's how they're gonna roll it.
No,
Diego, this is some fucked up shit right here, man. This is really breaking my heart.
man.
You know what, though? He's right, because I swear to God, I wouldn't put it past them. I really would not put it past them. I
Isn't the
swear
last
to you.
new thing they put Sam Fisher in was like some Division turn-based like mobile shit or whatever?
I don't
Remember,
know.
bro?
I know he was in Wildlands recently, but
Yeah, they had him.
I played that.
Yeah.
I
He
remember
was in
that.
Fortnite, wasn't he? No, was he in
No, I
Fortnite?
don't think
No,
so.
no,
It
no.
was
They
some
didn't bring
like
him to
Division
Fortnite.
mobile.
Yeah.
It was like a Division
Okay.
mobile map or whatever.
Just also, Steve, you can actually get. If you're talking about Child of Light here, you can actually buy it on the Switch because I bought this double pack from Best Buy. It's Child of Light and then that World War One game with like the cute little art style. What the hell was it called? Valor of Hearts or something like that. They actually have a double pack with it on the Switch for Child of Light. So you can actually buy Child of Light on the Switch. Just FYI. But if you want to get it for the Vita, you're more than welcome to. Keep that shit alive, baby.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, yeah, man, just give me fucking
And
Splinter Cell.
Breakpoint. That's right, Wild Boy. I remember those. I played those 2 missions.
Look, he said yeah, I said Valor of Hearts. You corrected me and said Valiant Hearts. And yeah, Wild Boy over here said he was in Wildlands and Breakpoint. Yeah, he was. Right,
And
but
it's
that's
like
the
it
thing.
makes
It's
me
like
wonder too. Does Ubisoft not have like rights, or is there some sort of like paperwork thing that they're not?
no.
Like,
No.
what the fuck?
They own the IP. No, they own this. They own the IP. It's of course they
need
do,
to-
but because
You
they
need to
just
start a Splinter Cell hashtag
Well-
mode. Restore the Splinter Cell saga.
and it will never fucking happen, dude. It will never happen. I'm telling you, they're just gonna leave it dead. They're gonna leave it dead, unfortunately,
That's a
and I'm just
mistake,
gonna
man.
have to dream about the what ifs for the rest of my life.
Especially where Hitman is the only stealth game right now that's like hardcore like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what they do there. And then the next thing I know you guys have been wanting to get it off your chest is the Resident Evil Showcase.
Oh my god.
So Capcom had this event earlier this week called obviously Resident Evil Showcase, where they showed a new trailer of Resident Evil Village. Obviously, the Resident Evil 4 remake, they did not touch on it, and I'm going off of here from the season game, our friends at Season Gaming, my boys. So they're bringing Resident Evil 4 VR, but not the Resident Evil 4 remake that everybody's been waiting on.
VR.
What? Yeah, and then they also said that there's going to be 2 limited time demos that are available now for PlayStation players. And then apparently there's Village is also going to have a game mode called Mercenaries, which is going to include shop, weapon upgrades, and abilities. And then they also talked about Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. It's an animated series coming to Netflix, which is pretty cool. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
Again, part of the whole Netflix video game adaptation renaissance over the past few years. We've always mentioned it. So it's going to take place after the events of Resident Evil 4 with the preview showing the White House. So that's when basically Leon rescues Ashley from the village and all this other fucking
Oh, are
bullshit.
you serious?
Yes, yeah.
I did not know that. That's sick. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Dude,
That's pretty cool.
come on. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna try the demos. I didn't even play the first demo. But I initially was debating whether I wanted to watch the new trailer or not, or even watch the thing. But then I'm like, well, I have a gaming show to do, so I have to fucking I have to know something about it. But I'm not gonna play the demos. But you guys played the demos, so I'd like to say, look, man. First, I just want to say before I hand it off to you guys, Village looks amazing. The more trailers I see, and then they showed the map too. You can see the map of the entire game. So there's 4 or 5 main areas, and then there's little areas around it that you can go to. So it seems like the world itself is going to be expanded, and it's not going to be just locked into like like Resident Evil 7, like the mansion or whatever. I mean, so it's going to be expanded more. So, dude, I can't fucking wait. But Kevin, I know you played the demo. What do you think so
hell
far?
Yeah. So I played both demos, and I'm digging it. It's exactly what I expected, with very little surprise, which is good. And I didn't want them to try something too new, because I think RE7 was new enough, and I think they're just gonna improve on Resident Evil 7. And I played my 30 minutes worth, got through the level that they presented me with. And it already scared the shit out of me. It already got me engaged in kind of the storyline that's happening. It gives you a little kind of peek into what you're going to be dealing with in Resident Evil. Well, maybe a little bit. Resident Evil's always deal with many different kinds of monsters and shit. So we'll see where this goes. But I think the world building is going to be really good in this one, and I'm psyched for it. I played it on the PS5 and it ran really smooth. Looks fantastic. I played RE7 on the PC, but I think I'll do console this time for RE8 since we got some new hardware now. Yeah, man, I'm excited to hear what Dash thought of it as well, because I know he's a big.
See, that's the
RE
thing,
fan.
man. How does it feel? How does it feel compared to a couple people I saw on Twitter were saying that gunplay feels a little bit faster, or the movement feels a little bit faster, or
Maybe a little tighter, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means that they're gonna focus more on being able to be aggressive, you know, because Resident Evil was never about being Rambo, right? It was about getting the
Sure.
fuck out, putting your
Sure.
shots in, and running. So I don't know, you know, the demo wasn't long enough to really experience too much of
Right.
that.
Right.
I mean, it only gave you a little bit of ammo and a couple of enemies to deal
Sure.
with.
Sure.
So I guess that's still up in the air. You know, I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind being able to shoot, you know, straight.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, RE7 definitely makes shooting, you know, interesting, especially on console. Like, holy fuck. So yeah, we'll see. I mean,
That's good, man.
I'm pumped. I got it pre-ordered. I'm ready.
That looks so fucking good,
Hell
man.
yeah,
Just from the
Gavin.
trailer alone. And Graham Reyes like played it last night and it jumped to my top 5 this year to come.
Hell yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Dash, you played it?
I played it. First of all, can you hear me? I'm having some mic issue. Can you
No,
hear me?
No, you're good.
you actually sound better than you did when you first started. Just
Oh
to
man,
be
what
honest.
was I doing? All right. So yeah, man, I did play it. I loved it. I thought all their showcases so far have been really good. What was interesting was I played a lot of Resident Evil 7 yesterday and beat it, and then went into the demo. So I got a real comparison, like a really good sense of the comparison. And yeah, it is faster. It is smoother. The graphics. You know, I was gonna post a tweet about like the sort of character model comparisons. You know, they look a lot sharper. It does look really good. The loading, I actually had to restart. I had a 30-minute demo. I had to restart during that, and I was freaking out about it. I was pissed.
Yeah.
Loading, it just loaded me right back in really quick. So that was really obvious. But 30 minutes was definitely not enough time, especially when you have a dead controller. You gotta grab the other controller, and guess what? You gotta do an update on it, and you gotta go plug it.
No.
You gotta
That's
go.
fucking bogus, man. Really?
I wasted like 4 minutes in the beginning of this 30-minute demo.
Like, is that where we're at, man? Even 4 minutes are so precious in a fucking demo. Why make it a half hour? Like, come on, man.
It was not nearly enough, man. I was sprinting through that village, man. I was just like knocking doors down, like, what's in here? All right, next. Like, that's not how you play a Resident Evil game.
But
Right?
honestly, too, when you really think about it, it's genius too, right? Look what you're saying. You're like, I was sprinting, trying to see everything, dude. I think that's exactly their point. It's kind of like taking kids, putting them in a fucking toy store, and telling them you have 10 minutes to grab whatever the fuck you want, right? So you know, like you're scurrying everywhere trying to grab something, and I think that's really their point. It's like, here, we're gonna give you a small taste until next month.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was enough for me to get a sense of the combat. Yeah, the shooting it's still a little bit challenging. Those enemies, man, they bob and weave, man. They're hard to hit, man. So you'll unload a whole clip on them, and
that's part of the point too, right? Because that's what I noticed in 7 is because you're just a regular guy. You're not supposed to be this fucking Rambo mercenary with a fucking headband around your head, you know, just murking people left and right. I mean, you're supposed to be this awkward motherfucker stuck in a weird, shitty situation, and you got these monsters that are just coming on you and they're just ready to rip you apart. So if you're not scared, or if your hands aren't swaying when you're shooting,
yeah, I think I don't play the Chris Redfield RE7 DLC, but I think
I haven't yet.
that one was more action oriented. You know, that he punches like the infected and all that. So
I gotta try that out, man, for sure.
yeah,
I definitely have to. Kevin, did you play it? I'm sorry. Did you already mention it? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
tripping,
mentioned
man.
it. Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Any? Oh yeah, you still want to play 7, so you don't really have much to say on this.
Bro, like I just kind of was like, oh, another Resident Evil. Like I just like Resident Evil. It's always been like my basic scary game that I've always liked about video games. Like zombies came from Resident Evil in my life. Like zombies don't exist anywhere else but Resident Evil. So to me, Resident Evil is like ace for me, dude. And I didn't really care too much about this one because I like didn't care too much about 7 because I didn't like how they were like going off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then like watching 7, I felt a little cool about it, and even with this one, like I felt better about 7, you know, after like watching it all on YouTube and like understanding where the story is and how
Sure.
it takes place. And then even when this one released and like you got word about it, I was like, now they're going into like witchcraft and all this shit. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I love it seems like an old house now, but there's a super sophisticated lab underneath it. Like, I love that type of stuff, you know? Like, oh, it's a police station, super sophisticated, like, shit underneath it, monsters and stuff. With this one, dude, first off, Mercenaries, I could totally see it being so arcadey. But in the main game, dude, this literally reminds me of Bloodborne, but first person. I don't know how to describe that. I don't know how to, like, make that equate to Bloodborne, but it really seems like it'll be like a good mix of like action and horror and creepiness and exploration. And it's not going to be like this all out I'm Rambo, like kind of what you guys are saying, you know? But then again, it's like, because if you remember, like Resident Evil has gone from the beginning. I was there in 97, by the way, with the director's cut. It was my first PlayStation 1 game.
Nice.
Okay. It was a shit show. Okay. I was scared, pissing my pants, reading fucking 5-page like walkthroughs, you know, anyways. And it was crazy, right? Super scary, super slow. And then when they got to 4, it was like, oh, they're ramping up the action a little bit. I like this. And then when they got to 5, they were like, yo, these action movies are doing good. Like, let's ramp it up, you know? So they did, and people didn't like it. 6, whatever, bro. Like, I don't even know. People don't even talk about that game. 7, ooh, it's creepy, but it's first person. This is different. I feel like they're meeting in the middle with 8 on 4. It's going to be that good little slice of action.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I
that's what
see
some
that in the
people have said,
gameplay.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what intrigues me about it the most.
No, I've heard that actually. I've heard that from a few people where they said like it kind of feels like 4, and I think it just
Okay.
really has to do with the whole village thing, you know, like the whole village vibe that they're going with. So the whole creepy village vibe, but you know, obviously it's just a small slice, so we have no idea. And Jordan himself said it here, you know, he's like, I like the gothic horror. This is what RE4 needs to make a new leap after their transition to FPP. Reminds me a bit of the later chapters in RE4. Give it to me. Give it to
okay,
me.
like with the little dude, the little, yeah, I got you for the boss or whatever.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Hey, which one of you guys said monsters that are? Oh, that was me. Monsters.
That was
are
you,
coming
bro.
out.
I caught it. I laughed. I looked everywhere. I didn't see nobody react. So I was like, all right.
Oh shit, man! Look at Diego. I don't know how he caught that one. Yeah, I know, man. I know, Diego. Oh,
I
shit,
missed
you
that.
oh, what the fuck, man? What a brain fart that was. I didn't even remember what the hell I said. That's just amazing.
Well, you know, with Lady D in it, we may very well have a Pornhub spin-off.
Absolutely. And you know what? There is going to be, and I promise you, I guarantee you, there will be some sort of Pornhub shit out
Oh
there.
yeah, fan fiction.
100% they're going to. They're going to
yeah.
do something with it. Oh yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Anyway, yeah, man. So that's going to be exciting. We're all looking forward to it, and I can't believe that I'm actually saying I'm really that I can't wait for a Resident Evil game. But I guess 2021, man. Diablo, Resident Evil. I don't know what else.
You're a new man.
I'm a new man, dude. I don't know what else this year is going to give
Come
me.
over to the darkness, Mo.
I love it, man. Honestly,
yeah,
I fucking love it.
Bloodborne, Dasha, Bloodborne. Hell
that's
yeah.
right. That's right. You gotta play Bloodborne next.
Yeah, that might be the next. Maybe. I don't know. We'll
Tell
see.
me, Mo. Co-op, baby.
I know. Okay. This one, I don't know how many F-Zero fans there are, but I just felt like it was. I didn't understand this, you know, and I this is like one of those situations where it's frustrating for me. So an ex-Nintendo designer, he said F-Zero is not dead. It's just hard to bring back. So his name is Takaya Imamura. He's a now retired Nintendo artist and designer who helped create The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, characters like Captain Falcon, Fox McCloud. He said that F-Zero isn't dead, but it's a series that is hard to bring back without a grand idea. And he revealed that he considers F-Zero GX from 2003 to be the ultimate F-Zero. If you do the math, F-Zero GX is 18 years old, and it was the last console F-Zero game to be released. So a lot of people like me have been waiting on a new F-Zero, right, for almost 2 fucking decades. 2 decades. And he said, of course, I've thought about it many times, but without a brand new idea, it's hard to bring it back. I'm not sure exactly, I'm not a game developer. I'm not going to pretend to be a game developer. I have no idea what they mean when they say, what does this even mean? What does it mean? Like a grand idea or I'm not sure what it is. You could take this game, literally, and you can just remaster it or remake it or whatever it is. If you consider this to be the pinnacle, if this is the pinnacle of this franchise, right? Since when have you shied away from remaking or remastering games and reselling them? Like, this is fucking Nintendo we're talking about. We're talking about Sony doing that. Nintendo's even worse at doing this, right? But they know how to do it. They know how to sell it. They know how to bring it back. And I don't understand what it is, what kind of grand idea you need for a fucking racer, right? It's a racer. So I'm not sure exactly what they mean by this. I love F-Zero. I love GX. I have a copy on the GameCube. It was one of the best games on the GameCube. It was tough as nails, man, but it was so good. And I liked F-Zero, obviously, from before, from the 64 and the Super Nintendo games. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any type of emotional attachment to F-Zero at all, but for me personally, I just don't fucking understand this whole, it needs a grand idea. It's a racer, man. Just remake it and bring it out. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Anything to add here?
Yeah, I was going to say translation. The grand idea translation is we need something that's going to be, commercially viable. Like if they drop an F-Zero, today, I don't know, it'll probably sell, but it's not going to get the Mario Kart numbers. Mario Kart has a whole different audience, a much wider audience than the hardcore fans, the person that remembers it from SNES or GameCube. So I think they absolutely have the ideas to make a damn good F-Zero. Like you said, what more do they need to do? Put a coat of paint on it. But the games that they are doing remasters of, they're the games that sell. They're the Marios and the Zeldas and more Marios. Those are the top games. And F-Zero, I think it's a beloved franchise, but I don't think it's anywhere near on the tier of those other guys. So that's how I took. That's how I took his sort of.
Yeah.
I would say no one will be interested in it, right?
Yeah, but the thing is it'll still sell because Nintendo is at a point right now where they can literally press shit into a cartridge and it will sell.
That's true.
So.
I kind of took that mode because F-Zero to me is a particular brand or whatever you want to call it, like series. And the only way I knew about it was because of Smash Bros, Captain Falcon or whatever. But I have played like one of the newer ones or something that came out on like PS Plus or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, this is like, remember like way back, like, I don't know, 6 months ago when I was like, dude, I want to get into racing games, blah, blah, blah. Remember? Right. Well, I like had a handle on that for like a moment. And I was like, so whenever it says like, grand idea, it's almost like, I think it's like a racer game that could support life like a battle royale in a way. I feel like they try to do that with Destruction All-Stars in a way. Like they're trying to be like, hey, not only like shooting can be like this fun, long-lasting experience over a month time, but like driving and racing, like, you look at those Forza games, I think, where it's like you're in a hub world and it's like that. It has a video game environment still. Yeah, and like maybe they're trying to make it like that. And if Nintendo had something like that, I think that would be pretty cool. And they made it from a staple character, Captain Falcon and the F-Zero gang, you know, like maybe that's, you know, or maybe he just really likes racing games and he's like, that was my baby. It has potential. You just guys don't see it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So
I'd play it.
Even Steve over here, he's like, make the story mode actually bounty hunting. Like Cowboy Bebop, since Captain Falcon is a bounty hunter, you can have him in high-speed chases with criminals on land and in space. Hey, man, we could run away with it. That sounds awesome, honestly, to me. So, I mean, there's your fucking grand idea. What the hell? There's a grand idea right there. Do something with it. Oh, man. Okay. So I thought that was interesting to bring up. So the last topic I wanted to get into was really just I wanted to just ask you guys about your takes, you know, current state of where we're at right now with Xbox and PlayStation, how well they're going to do or how they're going to do for the rest of the year, you know, games we're looking forward to. I don't want to retread all the stuff, you know, that we've been hearing over and over, you know, by a lot of people in terms of PR and whatever. I think it's been pretty obvious at this point. You know, what's been loud, what's said, what's not being said, you know, who's really winning this PR battle with the customers, where the optics are, you know, and all that. I think for the first time in a long time, we're in a situation where we haven't been, you know, since the 360 and PS3 days. And that's the competition being incredibly fierce. And that to me really is what the biggest issues are at hand right now, is because Sony right now, they're in a position where they got used to the competition being kind of behind them, you know, for the last 7-8 years since the 360 days. They got used to the competition being behind them, and I don't think they were expecting this type of swing from Microsoft. I mean, we're not even talking about a swing. We're talking about a swing for the fucking fences. You know, I'm talking the type of swing where they're just going for all hands are on deck, right? Everything and anything can be considered, even to the point where they will advertise your game made by your studio in baseball games that says coming to Xbox Game Pass without the PlayStation logo anywhere near the game that your studios make. That, I mean, we're talking that kind of marketing that they're doing. Obviously, on top of that, you know, to kind of go back to Grubb's thing about, you know, the optics that people have with Sony, at least. I agree with him about the optics. See, the way I look at it is, look, I'm in no position to talk about how a person like Jim Ryan or Phil Spencer, whether they're doing a good job or not, right? These people are so fucking well qualified beyond the realm of my of anything that I know, that I don't feel like I'm in any position to say whether this person is qualified or not. But the way I look at it is, I look at these people as it's really two separate things. There's the Jim Ryan that people want him to be for optics, and there's the Jim Ryan that's good for Sony, right? Jim Ryan for Sony is making money, right? I've compared him to Roger Goodell before with the NFL. Nobody likes Roger Goodell. Everybody hates Roger Goodell. The players hate him, right? The fans don't like him, but the fucking owners love him. The owners love him because he brings so much money to the teams and so much money to the leagues. And where Ryan's failings are not just because of the fact that the competition, you know, where you're looking at, you know, Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, and all these other people on the Xbox side, right? People that actually play games and people that actually stand in front of you and are able to talk to you about video games. That itself does resonate with people a lot more than people really give that credit for. And that's where the optics come in. Now, for us, we want that from Sony because we haven't seen that in a long time. Andrew House, Jack Tretton, Shuhei Yoshida, what's his name? Sean Layden, right? These are guys that actually played games. These are guys that actually, when they stood on stage or when they talked to you, you knew that they played games. There was a passion there. Even Adam Boyce, right? That's all gone, right? Those optics are what's really bothering people, I think, in a sense, and why they think like all of a sudden there's some sort of doom and gloom. And I really don't blame them, because Sony themselves have really relatively stayed silent amidst all this. And I feel like the fans themselves of the PlayStation brand are carrying their legacy, or they're being louder than that company actually is, right? Like, I mean, they're the ones that are defending Returnal, or defending these games that are coming out, defending indie titles coming out, saying like, hey guys, it'll be fine. It's just a fucking PR slip up. Like, say something. Talk to people, right? You've done that for so long. You went the entire generation, last generation, one fucking banger after the next, whether it was a AAA, or whether it was indies, or whether it was for the players, or all this shit, all these monikers, all this marketing crap that you did, for it to suddenly just go away, right? It's very, very strange, and I think it's very, very telling of how they wanted to rebrand themselves. And that's fine. You bring me the games, I don't give a fuck. You brand yourself all you want. I don't care about Jim Ryan. I don't fucking care about anybody. Just give me my games, and that's all I care about. Yeah, I love Phil Spencer, man. He's the fucking man. Give me good games. That's all I'm talking. That's all I care about. But all I'm saying is the optics themselves really are what's causing this whole thing. Or just all this talking about, oh, well, Jim Ryan might not be the right person for the job. That's just a bunch of fucking bullshit, right? Like, you can't do a better job than the guy, right? As long as he continues to bring them money, that's all they care about at the end of the day. And if that's what they care about, then so be it. Be a customer, buy the fucking games, or rent the fucking games, or do whatever you want with it. And the problem with him is the shit that he said from before. This is how you know he's not a gamer, because he's so out of touch with what people want, or with how the current market actually is, at least from an optics perspective. First, you say nobody wants to play old games. I don't agree with that. Okay. Then you say we're gonna put indies on the back burner. We don't really care about that right now, right? Then you say Game Pass is not sustainable, which it clearly is, right? And now there's rumors of Sony apparently wanting to make some type of service, some consolidated service, because they're looking at it and they're just like, okay, well, we just told people to pay full price for Outriders, while somebody who's paying $15 a month for a Game Pass subscription can play it. We want people to buy our own fucking game made by our own studio for $60 or $70, while people playing on Xbox who have a Game Pass subscription can play that as part of the subscription. I don't think people understand what a bite in the ass that was. I don't care about the fact that Sony of course they got reimbursed. Of course they got royalties. Of course they got the money from the MLB and all this other stuff. But optics wise, right? Imagine somebody who's been a fan of Sony for so long looking at it and being like, you want me to spend this fucking money on this game that you're making, but these guys are spending $15 a month, have access to all this shit and your game? Come on, man. Right? So that's really, I think they'll be fine, right? But I think the thing is they need to just step up to the plate, and they kind of really need to get out of this fog, that we're not used to seeing them in. And I've said it before over and over. It's because the competition is just pouncing on them over and over and over. It's so accentuated and it's so loud that it's drowning out anything that they're saying right now. And they're not really saying much either, right? But, you're not reaching out to the fans. You don't have these likable personas anymore to talk to them. So if you don't have that and you want to continue this corporate stature, fine. Go ahead and do it. But just back it up with some shit, just to keep your fans happy, right? I mean, and I do think they'll get there. I think there's a lot of shit coming up. I think Returnal is going to be excellent, to be honest with you. I have a lot of hopes for that one. I think Ratchet and Clank is going to be good. I'm not so convinced God of War is going to be this year. I'm not even convinced Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be this year. There's a lot of unannounced games that are not out yet. They got a lot of shit in the pipes that we don't even know about. But stop letting your fans do the work for you, right? Just stop it. Because you need to also do that yourself. You need to come up to the plate and you need to talk, and you need to just talk to us and tell us about shit, instead of just fucking putting out these press releases about Jade Raymond's new studio, or the PS3 studio closing down, or the Vita studio, or the PS3 store closing down, the Vita store closing down. It's a fucking email that you put on your website. Come on, man. You're not celebrating your old games. You're not celebrating your legacy. You're not fucking talking about it. Come on, man. I think, and again, these are just little things that they can improve on, and they will improve on. right? And I don't think by any means this is not doom and gloom. You guys already know my fucking take on that. I think it's retarded when people talk like that. But and then you got Xbox on the other side who are firing on all cylinders. Yes, granted, their only big game that is coming out this year, as of right now, at what we know, is Halo Infinite. Enough for me. Not gonna lie to you. That's enough for me. That's all I fucking care about. They're keeping me busy with a lot of other shit that they're putting on the service. And as long as they keep their foot on that fucking, if they keep the pedal to the metal and they keep giving us games to keep us busy and to keep justifying that $15 we're paying for every single month, dude, we're in for one hell of a fucking generation. I swear to God. And we're not even 6 months in yet, right? I mean, I'm telling you, it's gonna be fucking lights out. We got E3 coming. We don't even know what they're announcing. We don't even know what else Xbox has announced for the rest of the year. But yeah. So I'll give it to Kevin, man. My bad. I fucking I want to rant right now, bro. What do you?
I love
what
it.
do you think,
I
man?
fucking love it, Mo.
Where are your optics for all this,
So
man?
the optics, I think the optics are bad, but I think they're accentuated by Xbox, right? I don't know that PlayStation is. I mean, there's a few things that they've done, but for the most part, this is the same PlayStation as the last 3 years, right? I mean, not a whole lot has changed. I mean, Ryan's still there. Yeah, they lost, Layden, but for the most part, they were just this quiet giant, right? I mean, they had released the bangers and they let the games do the talking, and they knew that people would buy their shit. And having Xbox finally step up to the plate and offer some competition, I think makes people kind of check in, right? And they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? What's your plan?" Do they need a plan on a lot of these things? Yes and no. I think at this point, Microsoft's direction with Game Pass is too big to ignore entirely. I think it wouldn't be a waste of time for those Sony execs to be reviewing this, right? And I think they are. More and more rumors have come out that they're kind of gearing up to do something to Game Pass esque,
Right.
for the PlayStation. Maybe even a full rebrand of PS Now, or maybe some sort of consolidation or new service. But either way, I mean, we want games, right? So if
Yeah.
they keep delivering those games, then they'll be absolutely fine. However, the optics are still going to be there, and I think too much of that complacency is what I'm going to call it, may not be good for them long term, right? Because energy builds up, and if Xbox keeps running with this energy, then unchecked, there may be some issues where people start to invest in a certain console because of said energy, because of said value, or because they're just in their public eye, forefront and center with their wins, right? And they'll be like, hey, maybe I'll play Call of Duty this year on an Xbox instead of on a PS5, right? Because the people that play those exclusives are not the majority of gamers. I mean, people don't buy. There is a segment that people that buy consoles for their exclusives, but there's a huge segment that buy it because their friends play on it,
Yeah.
or because it's cheaper, or because it's the most popular, right? So if Xbox keeps ramping up this energy, I could see that kind of shift come in, because like in the 360 era, people were like, yo, you want a Blu-ray player, you get the PS3. You want to play games, you get the 360, and that started to shift later down
Sure.
the line. But I mean, that was that energy. So I feel good about this gen. I feel like Sony just kind of, to put it simplistically, I mean, they kind of got caught with their pants down. I don't
They
think
did.
that they
They did.
expected Xbox to come out in the way and the fashion that they did. Are they in a bad spot? No. I just think that they didn't have that equal energy, right? Because they didn't expect it. Xbox started the race before they did, sort of thing, Once they get off the blocks, they're gonna be absolutely fine. And I think maybe the execs were just kind of on their yacht chilling from the
Yeah.
PS4 era, and
Yeah.
they're like, we got this. We got all these bangers lined up, and for good reason, right? I mean, they got Spider-Man, they got fucking God of War, they got all this shit. It's gonna sell.
Yeah.
But the energy, it's that energy perception, right? I mean,
Yes.
you see Xbox just hitting,
Yes.
and the thing is that it's not Xbox needed that, right? They needed to hit because it was sad. so so Xbox is finally climbing up to confront, that lack of energy last gen.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. And that's the thing. Just a couple of things here. So Diego said Xbox is making a lot of noise, but they still haven't proved the one thing that PlayStation proves time and time again. They make the highest rated games that people want and they need to play. And yeah, absolutely, man. And we've been saying this for almost a year now. I mean, they're correcting that. They're working on that. And if you think this is not applicable, you're wrong. I'm sorry. I know whether you're a fanboy or whether you're not. Okay, I mean, if it's true. Even if Sony games are not your cup of tea, if none of them are your cup of tea, I don't get how, but if absolutely none of them are, okay, then still, you can't deny the fact that, yes, the ball is still in their court in terms of software production, right? And that's what Xbox is working to improve, definitely. And they have been, and they will. And then the other thing, too, before I get to you, Dash, I'm sorry, just wanted to... And then here, Steve said, Sony is showing with all the recent news that they are super averse to risk, and that breeds homogeny in game design. So that's the other thing, too, right? And that has a lot to do with the recent reports that have come out about the Last of Us remake, maybe an Uncharted remake, things like that. This is where this whole optics situation comes in, because they're looking at it from, I tweeted out today about what John Garvin said about money, right? And how at the end of the day, no matter, you can't be so fucking averse to the fact that money is what makes sequels. Money is what decides sequels, right? It's not your love of a fucking game. Hey, I love The Order 1886. I love Rise, Son of Rome. Where are my fucking sequels? Why? I love them. No, they didn't sell. They didn't sell. It's pure and fucking simple. They didn't sell. So we're not going to get the sequels, right? And that's the way that it works. So, and I get what you're saying, Steve, too. Me personally, I'm like, okay, I think it's kind of ridiculous that we're going to have 3 versions of The Last of Us within the last decade. The PS3, the PS4, now the PS5. Okay. I love the series, but come on, And then Uncharted. I love Uncharted. Let it fucking die, right? Just let it die. You ended it on a good note, right? But they're looking
But
at
a
it, they're like,
movie.
no, he's right though, because listen, man, because optics, if you're looking at optics, this is going to be the new Gears, Forza, Halo. This is exactly what it is, right? God of War, Horizon, and The Last of Us, or God of War, Uncharted, and The Last of Us, right? You're going to start taking on that moniker if you continue to, and hey, man, those franchises have always been successful for Microsoft, but for Xbox, that was the problem. For years, everybody said Gears, Forza, Halo, which was right. It's true. So they're like, all right, motherfuckers, we're gonna shove 23 studios down your fucking throat and let me hear you say Gears, Forza, Halo again, right? So they're correcting that, and you don't want that. You don't want to continue that. You don't want to be that. And I get what he's saying with the homogeny for sure. So, and then the other thing too is, and this is all part of the conversation, Dash. I want you to, whatever comes to your mind. He said, can Sony do a Game Pass-esque service? Because I was just saying earlier about the rumors about them, and keep up the high-quality PS Plus games. We've seen the quality degrade. I still get them with games with gold. Yeah. I think, look, man, if Sony comes out and says, hey, we're doing a Game Pass-type service that's $20 a month, and we'll give you our games on day and date, do you know how many fucking subscriptions they will get? It'll be unbelievable how many people will subscribe to this, right? Unbelievable the amount of fucking people that will subscribe to this instantly. Oh, wait a second. Even $20, $5 more than the competition, sure, yeah. But to play all of your new games day and day, shit. Oh, absolutely. I think the quality, yeah, definitely. Now, as far as PS Plus, yeah, that's the whole situation. Like, I mean, do they keep PS Plus or do they try to shoehorn everybody with whatever service they're trying to go with? That's going to be tough to do.
Yeah,
You
PS
know,
Plus
so
is gonna die eventually, and so is Gold.
so is Gold. Yeah,
They're
yeah, we've
going
talked
away,
about that.
man. The
Hmm.
second that they get Game Pass, situated in everybody's living room, and the PlayStation Play Pass,
Hmm.
it's like that. I'm
The
coining
Play
that
Pass.
right now.
The Play Pass.
The Play Pass, the Sony
That's
Play
funny.
Pass.
They would,
But-
man. Honestly, they got these boring
get rid
ass
of it.
names. PS Now.
Yeah.
All right, Dash.
Yeah.
The floor is yours, my man. What do you think of everything we just said?
I agree largely with it. In terms of like the franchises sort of getting stale, well, I mean, think about it. We're on the second horizon, and fans want that. The Last of Us and Uncharted, they need to take a break from that. I think I tweeted about this a couple days ago. Naughty Dogs hasn't had a new franchise since the PS3 era. It's time for something new.
Yes.
If you see what Spider-Man is doing on the NPD charts, it apparently has already outsold Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. That's going to keep going. They're going to milk that for what that's worth. But yeah, I think Sony was caught off guard. I mean, Dinero put it nicely in the chat where he's like, "This is all happening outside of an E3," and I think Sony's saying that, "Hey, we got the first party lineup. Halo Infinite is delayed a year or so." And if you look at the launch windows, Sony's the only one that has the compelling exclusives between Demon Souls and Ratchet and Miles Morales and so on. So if you looked at it on paper, you would think, and they are doing well. They're the fastest selling console in the first 5 months, both in dollar and units sold. So they're doing extremely well, but this ain't the same Xbox that they were doing with last generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they approached this, like you guys said, with the same game plan as the last generation, and that's not going to work. Times are changing, and they need to adapt, and I think they need to adapt fast, because once Bethesda, get those games going, and not to mention all the other first party Microsoft studios, you got the Avowed and Everwild, Fable, and Microsoft. Yeah, they're not the same, and you can't approach this with the same air of arrogance that they had early in the PS3 days. And in some ways, actually, I think it's a different story than PS3 versus 360. But here are a couple similarities I draw to it. Is Sony's air of arrogance, where it's like, they started the PS3 generation with, the next generation doesn't start until we say it does, right? And I think they have something kind of similar. They fixed that. They fixed that in the PS4 era, but because they had a Sean Layden in front of the Andrew House. Andrew House is a suit as well. I don't think Andrew House was ever looked at as some hardcore, game savior, game player or anything like that. They don't have that right now. Herman Hulse is a hermit. He is quiet. He's not saying anything. So it's only Jim Ryan going out there, and he's got a lot of boardroom speak. Microsoft caught Sony off guard, and Game Pass is a lot more compelling than I think any of us thought it was going to be.
Absolutely.
4 or 5 months ago, and the exclamation point on it was grabbing that Sony first party of studios game, putting that on the service day and date, and then advertising it all over the place.
Yeah, look
It's
what I can do.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Right. It's unbelievable. Right. Yeah.
But here's the thing: Sony has a window still. I think a lot of Microsoft's first party games are still a few years out. They have a window, and apparently they are going to respond. PS Now is absolutely not the answer, but PS Plus, people like PS Plus. And if you look at what Sony's done between PS Plus, the PS Plus collection, and PlayStation Now, as well as Play at Home, consolidate all that shit. Consolidate it all. Put it in a service. You're not going to match.
Plus.
Yeah.
There's a plus.
Really, I don't know what they're going to do about the name. They took a plus and took a copy. but consolidate it all and put it in a service. Microsoft looks like they got this strategy that they're executing on beautifully, and with their biggest game being delayed a year, whereas Sony is, they're hitting most of their release dates, but they're not adapting with the times.
Yeah. No, they're not. They're definitely not. And I think that's why it's definitely slapped them in the face. And like we've all been saying, about them just getting caught with their pants down, because I don't think they ever expected it to have this kind of success, to be honest with you. And anybody that says sustainability and developers not wanting to or whatever, it's not like any fucking developers have a gun pointed at their heads. I mean, it's just this is what hey, you want to be on Game Pass, you either take a fucking lump sum or you take royalties based on engagement or whatever it is. And we haven't seen one fucking developer complain about it. Not a single developer that has put their games on Game Pass has complained about it.
I haven't heard shit, dude. It's like the motherfuckers that get pissed off because their favorite brand got picked up at Costco, right? And now everybody's wearing that brand. You know what? They did it because it made them a fuck ton of money. Costco went up to them and says, "Yo, you wanna make something for us? Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. You got a bazillion white people waiting at your door to come in and buy this shit. Let's go in bulk." So it's the same concept, dude. There's no guns being held to people's heads. They go in there on their own, and make those deals.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Mike, where you at with all this, man? Oh, you got something brewing in your chest, bro.
I just feel like it's literally one of those things, man. Like, I feel like it is in regards to like branding and just like, putting your brand out there or whatever. When you're at a site and you're not making noise, you're out of mind. And when you got the competition, it doesn't matter if Xbox was saying bullshit, but I mean, good enough that they're not, but even if they were loud and just talking shit, like that would still get more eyes on it than PlayStation, which is like, quiet or what have you. And like that's one big thing, like you don't want to watch a movie until you watch a trailer for it and you're like, yo, I'm kind of pumped now. And so everybody's looking at Game Pass and everybody's looking at all this Xbox word and they're like Kevin mentioned, the energy. Like, I am so about that shit, bro, because that's what it is. I'm hyped. I just saw some little, maybe some streamer or some little video about Game Pass or some little something about a game. It's like, that's on my Xbox. Like, Xbox is talking. Yo, Xbox. Then you got the content creators, Xbox, which like blasts it up even more. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're just doing their jobs. They're just talking about what they love. You know what I'm saying? Whether, like shit talking PlayStation, whatever, they're doing the thing and that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is to me. Out of sight, out of mind. Returnal, to me, Returnal's cool and hype because it's like, it looks like a difficult game and all that stuff. But to me, it's not something that could hold Game Pass and all these studios up on its shoulders for this point in time. Like, because Returnal is one of the first games besides Oddworld Mo where I'm like, fuck, dude, like, I really want a PlayStation 5 for that game. You know what I mean? Because I don't have them yet.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, that goes into anything, man. Like, if you're watching Taco Bell commercials all day, you're going to want Taco Bell instead of like, Arby's or what have you. You know what I'm saying? You're not even going to think about that because Taco Bell's just being shoved in your fucking face. So when you're on Twitter, people are talking about Xbox and they're not necessarily talking great about PlayStation. Like, I don't really like get into that stuff on Twitter, but I am curious to see like what. Oh, actually, I have listened to, I think it was Colin Moriarty or somebody, Mo.
Yeah.
I think he was like, dude, I've been following PlayStation for a while and like doing all this, like, being a PlayStation person. And it's just like, even I am like questioning and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like, I feel like I could like, I get this word. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He had a really good rant earlier this week. And
he did.
Yeah,
he did. Yes. And I very much agreed with him. And it's just like, yeah, man, it's just like out of sight, out of mind, dude. Like, if you're not heard, you're not going to be thought about. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah, that is true. Absolutely. Yeah, and really, what is it? Go ahead.
No, I heard that rant as well. I don't know. I don't know if I fully agree with it. I forgot to mention earlier, though, the other thing that reminds me of the PS3 360 is everyone was looking at what Xbox was doing, and they're innovating when it comes to online and everything.
Sure.
And achievements and so on, and PlayStation looked like the sort of the antiquated sort of business.
Sure.
Even though they had some decent games, the franchises that they had associated with them were now going multi-platform. So they adapted, they adjusted, they got their online services up, they got their trophies, and so on. They modernized and adapted where Microsoft was
Sure.
innovating. And I see the same sort of scenario where Microsoft is innovating here where it comes to
Plus added all that energy that like Xbox hasn't been doing good for a while. And then now it's just like this big rush, and there's not only energy behind that, but there's energy behind PlayStation is also silent. So you got these like two big, catalysts happening to the word of what is happening with Xbox. And like you said, Mo, like PlayStation is just getting tanked right now. But who doesn't say PlayStation's not in the lab right now thinking up some shit, getting ready for a week or 2 or 3.
But again, but that's the thing from a PR standpoint, because again,
I see.
We don't do sales or any of that shit. We don't really talk about that on this show. But hey, man, fucking recent numbers that just came out. They had for the NPD. They had the US PlayStation. They had the PlayStation 5 being the fastest selling console ever in the United States in terms of numbers and revenue, I think, and revenue as well. So
start making moves.
No, take advantage of that. See, that's exactly what my point is, right? It's not about the whatever. Yeah, clearly people still want it, right?
Yes,
people want these fucking consoles because they're both selling out.
Yeah.
They're both selling out. Seems like just Sony's just producing them more. They're producing them faster at a faster rate. But they're both selling out. But if you clearly know that the interest is there, and that's really my point, right? From a PR perspective, they're getting fucking trounced. But at the same time, people are still buying. People are still interesting. They still want it. So reinforce it.
Right.
It's $500. Reinforce it. Microsoft has done a good job of reinforcing the last 5 months for us, right? At least like they're like in terms of Game Pass and all of these nice moves and putting it front and center about quick resume and the speed of all this shit that we're getting, all of these improvements that we've gotten. Meanwhile, I feel like the PS5 has really ridden the back of Insomniac since its release. Between Spider-Man, Miles Morales, right? And then Spider-Man Remastered, right? And then you also have Ratchet and Clank coming out. After Ratchet and Clank in June, dude, Insomniac is going away for like 2 years minimum, right? So now somebody else has to come and carry the mantle. Somebody else needs to pick it up. Insomniac, thank you for your fucking services for the last 6-7 months. But that's the thing, right? So you just pick it up, man.
Maybe they had to fill that gap and they were like, let's just remake The Last of Us. Like Insomniac's going to be working in the lab for the next 2 years on Spider-Man 2 or what have you,
let's make a remake. Of course it's going to be Spider-Man 2. Look at Miles Morales. It's still in the top 4 selling since it released.
It is
Spider-Man, dude. It's just people. I'm okay with Spider-Man, right? Like, I mean, I'm not like, oh, like, I mean, it's fun, right? Like, I mean, it's fun to me. Like, it's just fun, but I'm not crazy about it.
Right,
but I mean, it's unbelievable. The brand just sells. It sells.
Yeah. No,
so
it does.
Yeah, man. That was a great fucking conversation, boys.
Yeah.
Damn, that was good. Yeah, dude. That is all I have. That was actually it, man. Dash, fucking pleasure having you, dude.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You got the brain and the eye for this shit, man. Well,
Yeah, Dash,
hopefully
awesome.
we'll have you on again soon, man. Seriously, we really enjoyed it with you. It was awesome.
Have me next time Sony drops the ball again, man. I love talking about that.
if they do, which I'm sure there'll be more doom and gloom within the next week. So. Yeah, but Dash, where can they find you at, man? Where can people follow you, talk to you, find you at?
Mostly on Twitter at Dash Revolver.
Dash Revolver. All right, people follow him at Dash Revolver.
I like it.
He's got some good takes. Mike, Kevin, you guys got anything? You guys got any final thoughts, words, anything you wanted to mention to everybody?
No, just everybody that turned up in chat. Thanks for showing up.
Yes,
We
sir.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you sexy supporters, you always
All of them,
lovely.
man.
Yeah, it's
Fucking
always a good week.
Seriously, man. Really appreciate you guys, man. I swear to God. Diego, I fucking love you, brother. I'm still waiting on your ass so you can make me that sexy new shit that I'm waiting for. All right. So, every one of you, Steve, pleasure chatting with you today, man. Thanks for dropping in. Everybody who came in new, Graham, Wild Boy, again, always a pleasure. Doom, all you guys, man.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining
Jordan.
us every week. Even Jordan, you sexy bitch. Appreciate you. But yeah, man. For me and for Kevin and for Mike and for Dash, thank you guys all for coming, and we will definitely see you guys next week. So enjoy your week. Oh wait, oh yeah, shameless plug. How about that new SG intro? Hey man,
Yeah,
yes,
for real.
yes.
For real.
I have a lot in store for you, man. Just wait. Oh yeah,
Diego, that's the kind of shit where it's like whenever you're that person that makes other people change their game. So
Oh yeah.
lovely shit.
Oh yeah, man, that was beautiful, dude. Anyway, yeah, Jordan, Pampa, Diego, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next week. And you guys take it easy. Have a great week.
Peace.
Peace.